Should be out there.
Well, if you can hear us, it's That Kingsville Podcast, live coverage of election 2022, Town of Kingsville.
Election coverage.
Oh my gosh, we brought it to you live. You see the miracle of technology we had tonight, boys? Oh my gosh.
It was hit and miss.
It was.
It's like maybe it's going to go, we'll see. Maybe it's working right now.
It could not. It could be just a bunch of people staring at our bald heads and glasses.
Or we could just be talking to a cell phone in the hallway and people passing by are like, what are those people doing?
Regardless, we're going to do it for at least an hour.
You're welcome.
We just lost 6 viewers. We only have 5 to start.
Yeah, 5 to start. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. This is our live coverage. As we did the Meet the Candidates event earlier in the election campaign season, we felt the need to go back and bring it all to close and report on the actual election results. So we are at the Kingsville Recreation Complex. I'm your host, Dave Hunt. With me, as always, Kevin Black and Steve Ianson, Gary Glass with the production for tonight's episode. So come on in. No, we were just recording
Please.
the podcast. You know, party's inside. So enjoy.
It's good pizza in there.
Say hi to try to stop everyone.
We've got some of the candidates that are here at the event that the town of Kingsville is preparing for all of now some of the elected or not elected. Potentially, yes. Polls have closed for half an hour, so we are awaiting all the results, which should be reported within the hour, but who knows whether or not that's accurate. We'll see.
Do you remember 2014?
I do.
2014?
So 2014 was internet voting.
Oh, yes.
And it took, was it 11:30?
It was about that. I think we were discussing back and forth. You would ask Brian Sweet how many levels of Candy Crush you went to for them to spit out the results. And I said, I think I told Maggie DeRoche at the time that let's just send it out via bad signal once we know the results.
We'll let the smoke signals up.
It was a long
That was a long one.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that are anticipating a quick result because of the advanced mail voting, but remains to be seen. The clerk and the staff that's tabulating all the votes at the Unico Center, I'm sure they also have to get all of the ballots from Cotton as well, too. So the Ridgeview polling station was open till 8 o'clock tonight, 6 or 8 o'clock.
6, I think.
So all of those votes have to come into the town proper and get counted as well.
Well, it's interesting you say that because a lot of people think because you mail your ballot in that it gets counted early. That's not how it happens. And so generally the way it works is they open up the envelopes to make sure the declaration is signed, that there's not a spoiled ballot, and then they'll cut the envelope open, but they won't actually take the paper out. And they can't actually take the paper out of the envelopes until polls close at 8 p.m.
Right.
So the actual counting of ballots doesn't actually begin, usually, I should say. I actually didn't ask Paula for this election, but generally, it doesn't actually begin until 8 p.m.
And kudos to Paul and the department. I mean, I know it's been a long, busy road for them. I know a lot of people think as recently is making sure everyone who needed a ballot had a ballot. And they really have the time for them. And I know I know people are going to say, well, that's their job. It is their job, but guess what? It's every 4 years that their job becomes really frantic.
Yeah.
And tonight is kind of the culmination.
The clerks are the quiet stars of elections.
Absolutely.
Heroes of the evening.
That's right.
That and the pizza that we're going to eat later.
It can't be hot. It's got to be lukewarm, slightly salty from tears. Yeah. It's one of those, right?
Or warmed over.
Even more delicious.
Oh, savory.
Savory.
So, yeah, the election started, or the campaign season started about a month and a half ago after all candidacy was declared closed, and we had our list of candidates for mayor, deputy mayor, and councilors and school board trustees. And this year, this election cycle, for the first time in a while, there were no incumbents for the town of Kingsville.
Right.
So that's an unusual thing for us here in Kingsville. So we'll have new faces potentially new faces in the mayor and deputy mayor seats, definitely in the mayoral seat, and then with councilors. there were 14 candidates for those 5 seats. So.
Well, and there's going to be at least 2 new councillors.
At least 2. That's correct, because Laura and Kim were not running for councillors.
Yeah.
Therefore, fresh faces, new opportunity. So it'd be interesting.
We're going to get into some of the stats around incumbency because it is a growing trend, and it's nice to see in Kingsville that more people are coming out. I should say acclaimed. More acclaimed seats, not incumbents, more acclaimed seats. And it's nice to see that that didn't happen. That's a thriving, caring town, caring democracy. It's nice to see it's happening here.
I want to say this year's election season was easily the one. There's a lot of action going on.
It got a little controversial at times.
Very controversial at times. Things from signage, things from social media posting, things from opinions and whatnot. So, hopefully everyone's campaigns allowed the candidates to go out and speak to their public and get their points across. And hopefully their voter turnout will have shown up today or over the last week or so with ballots. We'll see if that's the case.
It's funny you bring up the signage issue because, and Steve, I'm sure you could attest to it as well. Whenever there was an election, you would always, as a reporter, you would always get phone calls about stolen signs. Like, it was constant. Every election.
I had a sign for Tony Gaffin. Tony Gaffin's off camera, by the way. And it went missing from my front yard.
I heard that from you.
Hey, Tony, come here. I have a question for you. So if let me move the mic, Tony. So who cuts Tony Gaffin's hair to get ready for council? To get ready for tonight's event? Like, what is the election? The election.
Cuts his own hair.
Tony Gaffin cuts his own hair.
The last decade or so.
Gosh darn it.
That is I couldn't imagine.
It's not that easy. It's the longest haircut that I could take to give somebody.
He obviously hasn't been colored.
No.
Tony, we're gonna talk to a few of the other candidates tonight as well. But how do you think it went? How do you think the campaign was?
People are hearing it early a little bit more in their own life. They don't really have a lot of problems with me. It's not very happy with me. They just want to talk. So for me, it took me a lot longer to do subdivisions. It took 2 hours for me to 5 because they just want to
Did you notice any difference with your approach as you started to the way that you might have campaigned in the past?
Oh, absolutely.
What were some of those changes?
Absolutely. A lot of people think that you need to do all avenues to do a good campaign, whether it's, print, door-to-door, social media, and not necessarily do you have to have all those streams right.
What was the key for you? What was the number one?
Each person, 100%.
What do you think? You feeling it?
I cannot read lips.
You know my own, right?
Who can't hear you?
That's what I said on Facebook.
All right. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tony. Good luck tonight.
Would it help to vote? No, I think it's on. Is this on?
Double mixing it.
Going back to the sign, I remember having the campaign sale in Nelson. I think it's kind of close. Occasionally found signs and niches that you literally could slice them up.
Yeah, and now obviously it's a bigger issue because everyone can post about it on social media, right? But that, like, the idea of sign stealing, the idea of some of those dirty tricks, that's been happening in elections locally and
It's not a sign of the time.
no, it's
Hong Kong.
We don't have that. We don't have that.
Welcoming CAO of the town of Kingsville, John Norton, to the show tonight.
John, I'll just hand you this.
So we apologize for any
Slight technical difficulties.
I don't know. It's fine on my Facebook, so.
All right.
We're gonna roll with it. Sorry, not much we can do.
We'll just talk loud.
Yeah.
talk directly to the
Yeah.
Here, John, take my spot here in the center. No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, he warmed it up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it ready. Put you in the hot seat.
Well, thank you. I brought them from my house.
It looks unprofessional, but maybe will this help the audio?
Travel. So we put in jackets because it was, the commencement of the big event, and
Yeah, we're getting ready.
Getting ready.
This is a big night. This is a big night in Kingsville.
Down to the wire, aren't we? A few more
A
minutes.
few more minutes. So how's it been? I know you said we spoke a little bit earlier. How was it down at Election Central at the Univo? It seemed I was there earlier. It seemed busy when I got there. Is that the way it's been most of the day?
I think it has. I was there when the doors opened fairly early this morning, and then there just before I came over here to the arena. And it's been steady all day. I was there in the middle of the day steady as well. So I think a lot of people dropping off ballots, certainly, and then of course the processing of the ballots behind the curtain. So very exciting.
We were going through kind of that process. So whether you mail it in or drop it off today, what happens to a ballot? Like when did that secrecy envelope get opened, and when did those ballots get opened? If you mailed your ballot.
My understanding, and I've not been part of the process, but my understanding is just today is when they opened the secrecy ballots and started running them through the counters. So counting the ballots when we started today.
So, what do you think about the way this election is going? And we'll stay away from kind of the
controversial.
Yeah. But from a municipal standpoint, from a town standpoint, has everything seemed to go fairly smooth? It seems to, from a technical side, have been fairly uneventful.
No, absolutely. We've got a great team working on the technical side of things. Great municipal clerk. Really glad we recruited her. As you know, this is her first election in Kingsville, but not her first election that she's run. So she came to us experienced, and she's put together a great team. She's got a lot of training. A lot of the staff have worked really hard, and they've prepared for today so that hopefully it goes smoothly. So from our side as staff members, it's gone well. We've been able to kind of get out of the way and let the candidates shine and step forward. And as you say, they've debated, and tonight people will have chosen.
You've had 4 years, well, staff have had 4 years yourself.
2 years. Yeah.
To work with this council. Is there sort of a sense of excitement, anxiety among staff when they know that there's going to be some new faces and new council coming in? Or at the end of the day, is it show up and just do the same job you've always been doing? Or what's it like from just the personal level, I guess, for staff?
Well, we have confidence that the people are going to choose the right people, but I'll admit, sure, there's some anxiety, absolutely. We're not immune to that. We're not immune to the comments and the debate that's been happening. So we read that as well and hear them say it. And we know some are maybe looking for more change than others. And change can be stressful, but we welcome it because this is our job. So we've been preparing. I've been working with the senior management team to get ready for the new council. I've been working hard the last 2-3 weeks, especially on getting ready for their orientation and training. That will take place in just a couple of weeks. The new council that's elected tonight will get sworn in by the clerk on November the 15th. We still have one council meeting of the old council that take place on November the 14th. On November the 15th, the new council will be sworn in. And then we right away begin training and getting them ready for their jobs. Their first regular council meeting is the end of November on the 28th.
And that kind of leads into some of the next questions that we have. So the process of sort of training and acclimatizing them to the role, is it a week-long process? Is it just sort of so many meetings and like, okay, here you go, now off you go?
Yeah, so they will.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Time for school.
Yeah. Everything from getting them access to a cell phone and a town computer so they can begin using email, to teaching them if they haven't had experience on council before about how to make a motion in a council meeting. So the clerk has a training program she puts them through on our procedural bylaw. I certainly meet with the new council and we do some training around major files that we're working on and educating them on what the budget is going to look like. In January, they're going to have to approve and decide on a new budget for the new year. And then after that, we'll be going into a strategic plan to develop what they want to do for the next 4 years. So again, getting them ready for that. So there's a whole number of orientation things that we try to help prepare them for, as well as take time, of course, to listen to them and hear what their individual ideas are, and have them ready to go on then November 28th, so we can start making some decisions.
John, do you kind of buffer some of those more controversial items that are going to come, that could come up for council until they've had a couple of 2-3 meetings under their belt? Like, give them some softballs.
I was just gonna say,
until they get into like greenhouse lighting.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge with that, of course, is that we actually have not had very many council meetings, as we've allowed the current council to focus on being candidates, and we tried to hold back on requiring the current council to make major decisions near the end of the term, because that's maybe not fair to the new council. So the challenge with it is that there's sort of a pent-up demand for some decisions to be made. For example, again, they've got that budget to decide on, and we have some major planning files coming forward. We've got really some strategic issues we've been working on that the new council is going to have to decide upon. So I would like to say that we could kind of ease them into it, but I don't know whether they'll have that luxury or not.
What are some of those files that there's a chance they could be getting faced with? I want to hear like how terrible it's going to be for just in case those council, those candidates that are listening, maybe they're not successful. Like, boy, dodged a bullet there.
Whoa!
Well, I mean, on the planning side, the council that's outgoing just approved the new boarding, room, and lodging house that will especially have an impact on where foreign workers can live in our community. We still have work to do. We still have to figure out a licensing regime for those boarding room and lodging houses. So the new council is going to have to make a decision on whether to charge fees, whether to have a licensing regime or not. In addition, the council's asked us, and we've heard community members asking for an Airbnb type bylaw. What are we going to do about that? So this council will have to decide whether they want us to do that immediately, or do they, as you say, maybe put that off, wait a bit. There's a lot of other important files. Certainly the budget is a big one. We have some strategic decisions, I think, to make around what we're doing with some of our buildings in our community. We've got still our Ruthven and Cottam libraries are closed, and the library board has asked for renovations to those buildings. Making a decision about whether to spend money in those locations is going to be a big decision for the council. We've also got buildings that are starting to need investments. So I think of Unico, where we're holding the election tonight, needs some investments. We've got this arena where we've got some significant financial contributions that will be required over the next couple of years. And all of this, of course, is building upon the need to put money away for our roads and bridges, as well as the future high school and future public schools. So those are major sort of strategic and financial decisions that this council will have to make. And I think they'll have to be making those decisions in this next year and to really set the course for the 4 years and even beyond.
Well, that sounds fun. It just sounds like really good times.
Dodged a bullet.
Well, that is a lot. From the CEO's standpoint, though, to look at it from the bus perspective, it's a really exciting time. A really exciting time for whoever's elected to really, in a way, make a name for themselves, but put their ideas to work and really establish a legacy for the town, not for themselves, but for the town for years to come.
Absolutely. Very exciting, and we'll see tonight, won't we? I'm really looking forward to meeting the new mayor and deputy mayor and councilors.
So once the results are announced, what's the next step in John Norton? Are you going to contact each of them personally and congratulate them? And is there a special party we don't know about with cake?
The secret party.
The secret party.
Now that's the goal for sure, is to reach out and say hello and congratulations to those that have won, and really to thank those who weren't successful for putting their names forward and stepping up. So that'll be my goal.
And then let them know if you voted for them or not.
Were you surprised about the amount of candidates in this town for councillor and mayor and deputy mayor after everyone had fully submitted?
Yeah, and surprised as well at the quality of candidates. I mean, I think there's, even on that council list of candidates, there's a lot of people there that are got a lot of great ideas, and his heart is in the right place. So you can see a solid list of candidates putting their name forward for councillor. And we only have 5 positions, so you can hope maybe that someone will step up, maybe serve on some committees and do some other work. And then certainly for the deputy mayor and the mayor roles, I mean, everyone I talk to says we don't know who's going to win, and we'll wait and see. But that's because I think we have quality candidates.
So along those lines, the current council, previous council, the council that's still sitting, made some changes at the committee level a couple of years ago. But there are still plenty of opportunities for those who maybe aren't successful tonight, who really want to get out there and help out, because there are opportunities.
Absolutely. And we're going to be looking for that kind of help for sure as we go forward. And those people who put their names forward, maybe people, energetic young people, I don't know, who want to really participate and step out. Yeah.
Dave was on a committee.
Yeah, you were on one or two.
I was on one or two committees.
Yeah.
Dave was on committees?
Speaking of Dave's committee, if I go back to my list, I mean, Main Street Development Committee.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't name that one, but there's some major decisions there that are going to have to be made in terms of both prioritizing the different topics that came out of that one and deciding how we're going to move forward with them. We were asked by council to put an interim control bylaw in place to prevent some development in the area around the high school. Yep. That's going to expire in the next few months, and the new council's going to have to make some major decisions about what we're doing there. So,
Well, and some planning for potential use of that in those lands as well.
So it is a main priority.
Boom, shake.
I think a couple.
Listen, all night, Steve.
Come on.
hey guys, so we're ready to go here, right? With the results, I'm going to pass over the mic now, or you got another question?
No.
What, we got results?
I was just going to say, it's like, hey,
Feel the phone buzzing?
is it the time? Well,
I don't know.
John, you've got better things to do than just sit here with us.
Thanks, John.
Tonight.
like
Thank you for
having
your
you.
time.
It's,
Good luck.
Yeah.
thank you, John.
Thanks, guys, for what you're doing. This is good.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Thank you very much.
Tons of viewers. Eh?
I don't know, Gary, we
Tons.
got 12, 14 maybe?
7 streams.
Ish. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, John.
Just our wives.
It's just our lives. Jen's probably not watching. I hope she is. A lot of lives are going to change tonight, right? Well, actually having been elected to a position means quite a commitment, and I think that a lot of people through the course of their campaign realize just how
0 on YouTube.
50. Wow, thank you for watching. All 50 of you on YouTube. Great.
Good times.
We'll give you a shout.
Yeah. Is this when we mentioned our Patreons? Like and subscribe.
Jinx.
But yeah, a lot of people realize through their campaign speaking to the public about just how many different important issues there were that they may not have been aware of, and how many things that now they need some advice on or some experience with in order to speak and to qualify towards the opinion of that issue. And when John was here, he mentioned that there was a CAO action plan with some council priorities. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to come out of that and probably would change.
Should we go down the list and see how successful the previous council was at handling some of their priorities?
To John's defense, right? It's only been a couple of years.
See how many boxes we've checked so
He
far.
came in, not the easiest situation.
No.
Come on.
So the
Excuses.
Okay.
the strategic planning sessions in February and March of 21, council decided top 15. Usually with the rule of PowerPoint is keep it to 7.
Yeah, but I mean, if they were able to get knock off one a month, then we're fine.
And go. Priorities 1 to 5: customer service, training technology staff, review standards, levels of service. 2, housing affordability, lot sizes, developer incentives, second dwellings density, etc.
Yeah, I think they fixed that. Good. We're good.
3, greenhouse lights, dark sky odors, site plan compliance bylaws, other tools.
Actually, they did it. They did it eventually.
They did.
So
Yep.
that's a check.
4, programming increase, youth and seniors. There's been some stuff.
What more do people want?
5, a development plan for downtown Kingsville Main Street. We don't need that anymore, right?
Yeah. Kings Main Street's fine.
6 through 10, financial savings, school closings, migration hall.
Well, they just said that that's going to hit the next
Yep.
next council.
John kind of.
I gotta get you off. So some of the people get messages from our viewers now. So just like the we shut it up.
You
Are
sure
you shouting it?
Hello to Barry Wilson. Hello to Anna Glass. Thanks for watching.
Hello.
Thank you. Yeah,
It's good to see the phone and know you're there.
We're talking to a camera. Thank you for watching. Number 7, economic development. Strengthen tourism hospitality. 8.
Well, they did hire an
They
economic
did.
development officer,
Sue Rice.
So,
Yeah.
So,
Sue Rice should be on the show. We were focusing on the election season before we interviewed Sue, but we've reached out to the town and we'll have her on discuss some of her progress, I should say, going forward. Priorities, yeah. Who we're on at the bar? Holy cow!
no.
Jeez. You sure, Trevor? Are you sure, Trevor?
I feel like there's got to be
Trevor's down
something
there
better
playing
on.
hockey.
So
I saw him coming earlier. You go commentate on the game.
Yeah.
8, COVID economic recovery. COVID's over, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so we're done. We're good with
Yeah.
that. 9, communication strategy, policy, social media, website refresh, and other tools, public engagement.
Well, social media policy was presented, and then council's like,
No.
move on.
Next. That was on the bottom half of the priorities.
Stacy.
10, housing, migrant worker housing, inspections, building, fire, regulate, reduce, or increase.
So that's a check.
Check.
Hey, they haven't actually done bad.
They've
I
done
thought
some stuff.
I thought that it was going to be a whitewash.
Done some stuff. Priorities 11 through 15. 11, committees, boards, review, report. They just removed a whole bunch of committees, so,
So they reviewed them. Like,
Nope.
committees. Nope.
What do I have to volunteer for now? I never know all my committees.
Well, that's why Steve was on.
It was on
Yeah.
He is on.
Formerly committee.
Formerly the volunteer formerly known as committee.
Yeah.
12, policy update, procedural bylaw.
They didn't touch that.
They didn't touch it at all, no. 13, economic development. That's a done deal over yet. Diversify the economy, create local jobs, industrial.
Nice cotton.
Big dabble.
Did they touch cotton?
There was.
Yeah.
The Cub Scouts were, or the Boy Scouts were throwing apples. That's something. They got stop signs. The stop signs. No, the neighborhood.
Cotton's really up and coming. So soon they'll be a village. Are they a village?
Yes. Village of Cotton Hamlet.
Yeah.
14, infrastructure, non-municipal, union water expansion and governance. That's fine, go right ahead. You don't have to wait for us.
Please.
Sorry, we're the ones that are
You're welcome on
doing
camera,
this.
but you're safe over there.
And-
Union Water? Well, that's not them.
Yeah, union water is not that. That's a board.
That's a board.
So, infrastructure, municipal, asset management plan update, the infrastructure funding deficit, which is what John touched
A
on
little bit of the budget.
right there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we've got infrastructure upgrades because I think things are going to happen with some buildings in town. School surplus, if they want to do anything with those and acquire those.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, that's gonna really will end up being kind of the feather in the cap for this council that gets elected. Because they're gonna be the ones that are gonna be making decisions on whether or not the town wants to purchase, whether or not what they're gonna do with it. You know, we're still a long. Why is everyone looking at me?
Turn off the mic. That's fair one.
I should turn this off.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want just.
Well, apparently it's raw feedback.
Maybe I should.
That's the best thing about live streaming, right? Instant feedback. Thanks, son. You are watching. See? Love you.
What are you looking at?
My phone is on fire again. All right.
I don't know what I was saying, but it was.
Messages from
I'm just gonna intelligent comment.
Love you guys.
So there's some things that are relevant still within that list of priorities. There's also some things that I'm sure will come up with this council that they'll determine are more of a priority. So as John alluded to, we'll go through this process again, develop a new list, and then an action plan. Maybe a committee or two. Check some boxes.
Do we have any results from anywhere else yet? Let's check.
We ended hour 2.
We are still waiting
Half an hour.
everywhere. No results in
No
any
results
other
yet.
municipalities yet.
I tell you, I will recap some results from 2018. Oh, can we please? Can we please? The 2018 election results.
Yeah, let me just. Can I go cry in the corner while you read these?
What? Yeah, he's already at the joke. Anyway, there were 15,118 registered voters, 6,986 ballots cast, 124 spoiled and declined ballots, voter turnout of 46.79%.
Okay, so do we expect that to be higher?
I expect it to be higher.
I do.
Incredibly higher.
Yes.
Because everybody should have had the vote or the ballot go right to their house, and they didn't have to go to a place to do the thing.
Well, let's.
And it was very well.
We'll go through your stats, and then we'll talk about voter turnout.
They were delivered by top college.
They were top proficient too. They were out within 3 days, Steve. Bravo!
Great job.
You did do well. The official election results. I'm not sure if everybody knows these.
Of 2018.
From 2018.
Not right now.
2018.
2018. Old. This is old.
Old news. The mayor was claimed. It was Mayor Nelson Santos. Deputy mayor acclaimed Gord Queen. Now for the councillors, alphabetically. Cool. Kevin Black. Awesome. 1,622 votes.
Shook every one of those hands.
It was. I did. Gloria Cabanago, 648. Kimberly DeYoung, 2,909. Tony Gaffin, 4,489.
Like, why couldn't Tony just?
I don't shave off God. Yeah, he's like, I got lots. I'll just swing a couple that way. Kim Gilliland, 1,050. Corey Goslin, 880. Jackie Kerr, 1,003. Michael Laba, 1,386. Paul Riviere, 410. John Line, 1,249. Laura Lucier, 2,427. Ted Masternardi, 1,137. Thomas Lufeld, 3,317. Larry Patterson, 3,543. And Barry Wilson, 2,200. The school board trustees, Julia Burgess, the Greater Essex County District School Board English Public, 6,681
In 2018.
in 2018 results. 2018 results. We don't have anything yet. It's only been a half hour. We've been on not this year's election results. Sherry Zubich, 2,895. 2018 Windsor Essex Catholic District School Board English Separate. 2018 was Mary Glenna, 812 votes. And Derek Chuck, birthday Chuck, was 375.
And those were just Kingsville.
Those were just Kingsville votes, yes. Yeah, again, Kingsville votes.
Mary was elected.
Right, for the county, right, but these are just Kingsville only results from 2018.
Don't forget Owen Harold.
Owen Harold
Yeah, he got
was
6 votes.
councils, Golair, Viamont, French Public. He had 6 votes.
We need our kids to
And
read that.
the French Catholic, DDA Marat, was acclaimed. You want that?
No.
All right, well, I got one more piece of paper.
Thanks
left.
for that. I tried to forget about it.
Kevin, that was, again,
Yeah.
that was a thing. You did a thing. You tried.
So let's talk voter turnout.
Yeah.
So 46.79, right? 46.79% in 2018 for vote by mail. So how does that generally compare to past elections, say from 2000 on?
Hang on.
The room is not silent.
Okay, I'll blah, blah.
Hang on. Hold that thought.
Kevin is on it. That's a good report.
Some people are watching and don't know who you guys are.
I'm Dave. I'm the host of That Kingsville podcast. That's Steve Ianson.
No results yet.
No results yet. That's Kevin Black. You're watching That Kingsville podcast live election coverage.
Bye, Dave.
With
Bye,
no
Dave.
results yet.
No results.
In any town. Hold on, let me check.
None results.
Are
Gotta
people in the
fight.
field?
Oh. I'd like to remind everyone.
Let's just have a drink.
I'd like to remind everyone that Kingsville podcast is brought to you by Kingsville Brewery. Oh, thank you.
This is not
This is
Kingsville.
not Kingsville Brewery yet.
Uni water.
All right, so let's talk voter turnout. So last election, 46.79%, and we did, if everyone remembers, vote by mail. So how does that compare to past elections in Kingston? So there will be some people that remember the election of 2014. That was the first time that the town of Kingsville did internet and telephone voting. Now, it's funny, I did some research, I looked up things, and I found a very credible source from 2014, myself, and
You're reporting on your reporting?
reporting on my reporting from 2014, I found that there's actually some controversy in 2014, not just because of, obviously, eventually, the voting system would be found that was a little suspect, and then it wasn't used again. But back in 2014, there were 23 candidates for council.
23.
And if you did vote by mail, if you or vote by telephone, and you wanted to vote for the person with the last name, like the furthest in the alphabet, you had to listen to all of those candidates' names.
And I remember one of the candidates. I don't really.
Well,
it
yeah.
was tough. I believe Doug Williams, right? From obviously nobody would be.
Right near that.
This time.
Yeah, and so that ended up, there were some concerns that would end up skewing results because you're not.
I'm not going to wait around them with the 23.
Well, and I was really hoping they were going to do telephone voting when I ran, because then it's like, oh, yeah,
Have it black.
how do I press one, press one, right? Voter turnout, it's funny. So people think, oh, well, voter turnout when you do internet voting will be fantastic. Only 48% of people voted when it was internet and telephone voting in 2014. Only, and that was actually a decline from the general average previously of vote by mail. And so now, obviously, technology is different. That's 8 years ago compared to now. People are probably more reticent to go on and vote by mail or vote by internet. But only 48%. And the interesting part was when we spoke with the clerk back in 2014, a week before the election, only 25% of the vote had come in. Wow. So even though people could go on, log in a month early, submit their vote, or call in and submit their vote, they still waited until election day to vote.
But I think there was a lot of opportunity to gain more information too, right? I know back when we were working in the paper, we put out questionnaires. There's no like real timeline to say, okay, the ballots are going out by this date. If we can polls, we have more time. And people who think coming like that, they can say, okay, you know what? Yeah, I know this person, but I'm unsure for the next 3 days it's going to be late. So it wasn't as easy to get information as it is now. So
No, you're right. Well, yeah, there's lots of candidate information. There's lots of other information, kind of out there, right?
Right. And I think it's a lot easier now for candidates, and they're more able to create their own websites than they were. I know 8 years ago, it was still the internet was still a big thing.
I remember when you
First election.
encyclopedias.
So, going this way, do you have the numbers from the previous election?
Oh, yeah.
When we went to the
Oh,
poll?
so many. So in 2010,
He is well prepped.
in 2010 it was vote by mail then, and the voter turnout was 54.95%. And Steve and Dave, you guys will remember that was a heated mayoral contest between Nelson Santos and Catherine Gunn. And so whenever there's one of those like big mayoral contests, voter turnout generally is around in Kingsville around that 55% mark, which was what I would assume, if not maybe a little bit higher this go around.
Hot button topic.
2006, 52% vote by mail. 2003 was 50% turnout vote by mail. And the last time that Kingsville residents went to the polls on election day to elect someone for municipal council was in 2000. They did paper ballots, and it was 46% voter turnout.
So over under, what was the highest percentage of mail-in?
The highest percentage was 55.
54.9.
0.95.
Yeah. So over under 2022. What do we think? 55. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say it's over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over.
I probably won't crest 60, but I would say probably 57. 58%.
Now, if you're wondering how that is provincially on the average,
Tell me.
let me tell you. Voter turnout on average across the province in 2018 was only 38.29%. Like, apathetic. The general, excluding 2018, because it's actually roughly a decrease of roughly 5% on the average. The normal voter turnout for a municipal election is roughly 42.5%, 43% in the province of Ontario. So it shows like the people in Kingsville are a lot more engaged than what the average Ontarian is.
Amherstburg's reporting already.
Amherstburg is reporting.
Michael Prew's the new mayor.
Heard it here first.
What's CKLW?
CKLW.
So who?
Michael Prew.
Michael?
Because Aldo DiCarlo is not running.
No.
He's actually on CKLW right now. Like in studio.
It's not
Aldo is in studio.
Yeah.
It's not got nothing to do with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Steve looks that up. So the election season every 4 years, it ebbs and flows with participation. Yes, Kingsville is above that norm. I think it's because of the tight-knit community that we have and we live in, and also because of the long-running tenure of a couple of candidates or a couple of councillors and the mayor. Having new contestants, new potential candidates running against them, it does spark a lot of interest into that election. So.
Well, and speaking of candidates at large, Dave.
Sorry?
We have the results from Amherstburg.
Well,
Michael Prew is the mayor. Chris Gibbs is voted deputy mayor. Okay. There's some close numbers here, but as best I can tell, the council, it looks like Lyndon Crane, Donald MacArthur, and Molly Allaire, Peter Courtney, and Diane Pouget.
to be confirmed later,
Right.
but just from what our information tells us right now. Steve, your math skills are incredible.
Well, I'm just kind of trying to
Trying to get who's got the
deduce
highest
the five highest vote getters.
master list. So.
And if I'm incorrect, I apologize to
The candidates.
Yes, the
who aren't
candidates.
listening to us.
They're not.
Because we're not
That
that
is We are That Kingsville Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Hunt. That's Kevin Black, and that's Steve Ianson. Thanks for joining us tonight on our 2022 Kingsville election coverage.
So in Ontario, there are 444 municipalities,
Yes.
but only 417 elections. Because some of them are, those municipal bodies are made up of other towns' elected officials. So for instance, in our area, the County of Essex would be considered a municipal body, but because it's mayors and deputy mayors from other towns, there's not an election for the county council. They're put to that position. So there's only 417 municipal elections taking place, but they are happening across all of Ontario. So it's every 4 years, like you said. It used to be every 3 years. So if you remember, 2000, 2003, 2006 were elections, municipal elections, and in 2006 it changed it. There are a total of 6,306 candidates running in Ontario for 2,860 elected positions. It's a lot of sadness.
Yes, that is.
So much sadness. Oh, so salty. So salty. In 2022, there were 692 incumbents that did not run. That's compared to 607 in 2018. So an extra almost 100 people decided, I am done with this nonsense. So there are 350 fewer candidates across the province compared to the last election. And the total number of women running for a seat is up 4%. 27% of the candidates in 2018 were female. 31% are women in this selection.
Who you have watching, Dave?
Oh, Mitch Kaczmarski really wanted a shout out. There you go, Mitch and Kelly. Love ya. He is that's all right. I'm not winning this year anyway. Sorry.
Just like blood.
Should
I continue?
You
So,
should continue.
please, total
Statistics.
candidates acclaimed, because we were talking about acclamations earlier, that happened in 2018 here for mayor and deputy mayor.
Yep.
So total number of candidates acclaimed, 548 across Ontario this election. That's up almost 100 from 2018. Of those 548 acclamations, 163 are women. You're wondering. Yeah. Total heads of council, so mayors or wardens or what have you in your, what's it, aldermans? They're worship. Yeah, there are many names.
I'm going to cut you off again. Former mayor has tweeted that the results are in for his municipality.
Agitos.
So just making you aware that Scott W. Anderson is now.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Yeah, there we go.
and Angela.
News for one.
Angela Toserantio.
Agitos.
Total number of councils fully acclaimed.
Fully acclaimed council. That was a thing. Like nobody was like, all right, these guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Just roll with it.
So 26 fully acclaimed councils in Ontario in 2018. 32 totally acclaimed councils in 2022. 21 of them are in the north.
Yeah, they're like, there's 18 people that live here.
all on
so you
council.
guys want to do it? Yeah, all right. Keep doing it. That'll be fun. Votes are in.
Votes are in.
Votes are
There
in.
you go. We're gonna
Go live.
We are live.
Yeah.
Take
All right.
take the handheld in there.
All right. We're going
Turn it on too.
Yeah.
But I don't need to talk into this because I have this. We won't be on. Someone needs to stay here.
I'm staying here.
All right.
Look at my face. Holy cow.
I can move a bit.
Yep. That's a lot shorter than we thought. Thank you.
We're going to be here for mayoral candidate and then the vote counts, and then we're going to scroll down to the other candidate positions. There's the results from there.
Councillor Tony Gaffney, Larry Patterson, Thomas Neufeld, Debbie Jarvis Chassis, and Sherry Lowry. Again, Mayor Dennis Rogers, Deputy Mayor Kimberly DeYoung, School Board Trustee Julia Burgess, Mary Domena, Manuel Shea, Tony Gaffney, Larry Simpson, Thomas Neufeld, Debbie Jarvis Chassis, Sherry Lowry. Wow. There we are.
Here we are.
Wow.
There we go.
So we have results.
We have results, and that was actually a lot faster than I thought they would.
Very fast.
So, yeah, we have new mayor Dennis Rogers, Kim DeYoung, who was councillor last term, now the deputy mayor of Kingsville. Councillors Thomas Neufeld, Tony Gaffin, and Larry Patterson, all re-elected. And the new councillors being Debbie Jarvis Chassis and Sherry Lowry. So congratulations to all the candidates that have been elected.
Well, now they get to work.
Now they get to work.
Now the campaigning comes to an end, and
Get your signs.
now the work
And now the work
starts.
The mayoral race was incredibly close.
What's that?
Dennis won by less than 150 votes.
Wow. What totals?
Dennis Rogers, 3,182. Tamara Stahl, 3,036. Laura Lucia, 2,161.
Deputy?
Deputy Kimberly DeYoung, 4,629. Lord Queen, 3,130. Sam Zad, 533.
And
I don't have all the numbers for the
councilors now. It was kind of a summarized slide on the screen. So
They were. Do you have the Facebook page or the town page up yet? Because there were some vote totals on the town page when we were able to bring it up. But this shows the power of incumbency in municipal elections. It's people, that name recognition, right? The people that the names that people have seen on the ballots lots of times, those are the ones. And really, it's interesting to see Dennis Rogers able to rise above that, to beat out one current incumbent in a different position and one former incumbent in a different position. But elsewhere, you kind of saw that. You saw now Gord obviously has been on council for a long time. But Kimberly's been very vocal
active,
and
very active,
so
very upfront, very present. Again, everyone in this campaign cycle ran very visible campaigns. So we'll see with the full voter turnout numbers if we can get them. If not, we'll find them yourself. Curious to see if those campaigns and the strength of what those messages were increased the turnout.
Lot going on here.
Steve, yeah, no,
Lot going on.
the information came out. It's live. It's quick, fast, and in a hurry. So
now it's always difficult because now there's five councillors elected.
Yeah.
There are 9 people who are sat.
Yeah, no.
And I'll tell you, having been in that situation,
Tell me more.
relatively recently,
Yeah. 4 years ago.
it's difficult. You put in a lot of work. You put in a lot of effort. You talk to a lot of people. You have expectations. Like you work inside. It's the election bubble. Like everyone you talk to, no matter who they voted for, will tell you that they voted for.
Right, and then whatever your message is exactly the way that they feel that things should be done.
Right. And so it's always it's a difficult news, because for a lot of people it's shocking.
Yeah, get the numbers.
You guys keep
Yeah, absolutely.
And it because you've got a campaign platform and you've got ideas that you put down on paper, commitments that you feel that these are the things that you want to help make change for in the town, to find out that you don't have that opportunity as a formal council member, you don't necessarily lose all traction, but you have to find a new avenue in order to contribute or to help work through any of those initiatives.
Yeah.
You can volunteer on committees.
Like you maybe
Like me. So any remorse about not running this time?
No, absolutely not. No, that campaign seemed awful.
We were asked many times, especially after the Meet the Candidates event, whether or not. Congratulations, Councillor Neufeld. Many times whether or not we were going to run. I don't know how many times you were asked, but I was asked a lot.
I was even asked.
Were you asked?
Yeah.
Well, listen, just because we can talk into a microphone and we look this good doesn't mean that we want to be in that position. Anything, Steve? No?
Well, yeah, no, it's really interesting, and I guess on a personal level, I want to make a shout out to the gentleman that finished 6th last time, finished 6th this time, and in another incredibly close race. Barry Wilson,
Oh, again?
another great
What was,
candidate.
what was the, so it was Sherry Lowry this time?
So Sherry had 3,316 votes. Barry received 3,231.
Holy cow.
That's up 1,000 votes for him.
That is? Yeah, because he was.
He was 22.
So what's that? That's an 85 vote difference between fifth and sixth.
That's tough.
It just tells you how, how engaged, and I think the numbers are up because it's like 5,285 was the highest vote getter, which would be, and then 4,409 for Larry.
That's a lot for the kid.
4,188 for Thomas.
Mhm.
Debbie received 3,443 for the Jarvis Johnson. So,
And then Sherry.
and Sherry with 3,316.
I bet you those are all up roughly 1,000. Down.
Let's go
I
back
was
to
gonna say,
our
so,
discarded pages. here.
Tony Gaffin in 2018 had 4,489.
That's top.
And he was the top vote getter
Yeah,
in
that's right.
18.
Did they give you a number on percentage of votes cast? Like
No, not
turnout?
yet.
We should be able to.
I just wanted those numbers.
Just quick,
for
yeah.
discussion's sake. So
Larry Patterson had 3,543 in 2018. Thomas Neufeld 3,317. Laura Lucier 2,427. And Kimberly DeYoung 2,909. So, numbers were up considerably. So I think our over. Thank you, Mr. Norton.
Mr. Norton, any word on voter turnout? Have you heard any numbers?
I have not, but I'm going to call, you know what? I need to call the clerk and thank her for her work. So let me do that and see if I can give you the voter turnout right
Just
now.
curious because, it sounds like the
Thank you.
independent votes, all of those numbers are up significantly.
Yeah.
Debbie, congratulations.
Congratulations.
So,
Now they go through the
gauntlet.
the paces. They have to go into training. They have to learn how to basically be a counselor.
Yeah, procedure, right? As John alluded, there's procedure in session. There's conduct, right? There's things that you now need.
What did you notice with the incumbency were 4 people who have previously
Correct. Yeah.
So,
Of 7.
Yeah. So there's lots of opportunity for new ideas and then some known names.
You guys?
Are you live?
Yes.
Oh. I've been working really long hours.
There's another chair.
No, that's okay.
No?
I'll just like very casually, I'm not awkwardly
Hi, Tara.
Hi, Tara.
50.19%.
50.19.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought there must have been a lot more registered voters.
Just over 50%.
Well, that's up from 2018
That
to
is.
46.79%. So we are up on that, but not over the highest total.
No.
So interesting.
Now it's more. It would be more voters because there's a higher population in Kingsville.
Right.
So
So
we're talking about percentages.
yeah, we can take a look at those numbers, and we'll bring that on the next episode of the podcast. So I think with nothing more to say because everything's been said, gentlemen.
Should we run? Should we run down it once more?
One more time.
50.
Our newly elected mayor of the town of Kingsville, Dennis Rogers, Deputy Mayor Kimberly DeYoung, Councilors Tony Gaffin, Thomas Neufeld, Larry Patterson, Debbie Jarvis-Shossi, Sherry Lowry. For all of us here on That Kingsville podcast, thanks for tuning in. We didn't know if this was going to work, but Gary, you pulled it off.
Great job, Gary.
Gary Glass, thank you hey, listen, the best you could do with a cell phone at the arena and free Wi-Fi, okay? This is what you get, all right? Please, if you're so kind, you enjoyed the show tonight, please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
See if I can get Leamington's real quick.
Oh, is it late coming?
I don't know.
Essex is the other one too, right? They're the neighboring community.
Let's check quick.
Leamington's not
No,
up better than
not yet.
No, nothing from Leamington.
No,
So we're
stay
good.
with that. Six. Nothing yet.
Nothing yet from Essex. Well, you'll have to go to other social media to find out those results. So, congratulations, Sherry.
Congratulations, Sherry.
Congratulations, Counselor. So yeah, please tune in. Our next episode within the next 2 weeks, where we'll recap the election results for not only Kingsville but our neighboring communities, feedback, and much more on that Kingsville podcast. Thank you again for tuning in. Have a good night, everyone.
Oh, I will.